Hey there, Start here. As you can probably tell, I'm sounding much better. I'm feeling much better than I was last week. Still some lingering effects of whatever bug it was that my son passed on to me, but feeling much better. Thank you guys for the well wishes. I'm going to start with this battle today. This is the fight against Sephiroth. And Sephiroth, he is a bulky dude. He's got like 45 billion HP, and he's got one very annoying move in his kit, which is an AoE 50% death attack. And normally this wouldn't bug me so much, except that this fight is probably going to require a friend unit from a lot of the players. Like, most players are probably going to need a friend unit to take on the man, the myth, the legend, Sephiroth himself. And that instant KO attack, that death attack, is a real pain in the butt, because to expect the majority of players to build units with death resist on them is a pretty big ask. Now, since this fight is going on, there might be more people, you know, thinking, oh, hey, I better build my units with death resist. And to that point, my Flaring Aether Rain on my friends list is built with death resist. In case someone wants to take my Flaring Aether Rain into this fight. I'm using Flaring Aether Rain to clear this one because he's my strongest unit at the moment, and he's just the best at getting the job done. So for those of you that don't have Flaring Aether Rain, it might take you a little bit longer on this one. But I'm going to show you so Sephiroth basically has a 5-turn rotation. We're going to go out to 5 turns on this one, so you can kind of see what that 5-turn rotation looks like. All right. So the missions aren't too bad. No items, no continues. Those are easy. No continues to get that 400 lapis. Clear within 12 turns. That one might be a bit tricky for people, but it might also not be all that important if you have the Dark Vision's Katana, because really, if you have Sephiroth, you want to put the Dark Vision's Katana on him anyways instead of Mass Immune. So I don't know. Maybe that last one's not all that important, but you do have 12 turns to clear it, which is it's more generous than a lot of these where they're like 5 turns or less, right? So I'm going to pick a Flaring Aether Rain off my friends list. Here's Finny. He built a pretty awesome Flaring Aether Rain. Let's, unfortunately, and I certainly did not expect anybody to build their units with death resist. Unfortunately, the friend does not have death resist. That's fine. I did not expect it. I think, like I said, I think it's a big ask to just expect people to have their friends built with death resist. So at least it's only a 50% chance. So to that end, I'm going to go ahead and get into the fight in case it happens, because then I'm going to have to stop and start over. All right. So we'll start with Esther. She'll go ahead and put up her Omni cover. All right, we'll do Energizing Bunny and Shatterbolt. All right, Vaughn can go ahead and do Oil. My Brother's Gone, Flaming Smash. This will fill up his LB. It does the 160% Fire Imperil and some good breaks. Sylvie will do Burgeoning Defense, Elemental Vines, and Paladin's Offense for the attack buffs. Those are for our Flaring Aether Rains, because they're going to go ahead and put a stack on their Brave Shifted LBs on this turn. Alright, and this unit, Cisne, so this is the free unit that we got. So the current free NV unit that they're giving away, the youngest Turk, as they say. I'm not actually familiar with the Crisis Core part of Final Fantasy. I played the original Final Fantasy VII and loved it, but I didn't really follow on to a lot of the spin-offs and add-ons and prequels and such, so not really sure if Cisne is the correct pronunciation there. But that's the unit I'm using. You can put anyone else in that slot that you think would be better suited. I just threw Cisne in there just because I figured, why not? All right, so we are going to chain this up and hopefully do around 15% off Sephiroth's health here. 13%, that's not bad. All right, I'll take it. All right, so Esther covers everything, no problem. She's resistant to most everything too. All right, now there was a full party dispel. So unless you're using undispellable buffs, we have just been dispelled. You could bring someone like Roberta along because she has undispellable buffs, and that would be perfectly fine. Roberta is a great pick for this fight if you're going fire element. Okay. So now moment of truth. Is Sephiroth going to kill my friend unit? We're going to find out. So flaring Aether Rains just do their little setup skills for a big burst. You want to do a big burst before you've passed 80% HP, because once you pass 80%, Sephiroth will do a 10% full buff to himself, and that just makes things go slower. So you want to do your biggest burst before you hit that threshold. All right. Sisney is going to use her buff skill, Funeral Pyre Stance, does an LB mod boost, does all of her amps, and it does a 300% mag store, which is kind of nice. She is an SLB mage, all right? And you can get her totally free all the way up to level 130 EX3, totally for free just by grinding her dungeon, all right? Now Esther has to use her LB here to re-up her Omni cover because it's been dispelled. She is wearing double Blizzard Orb for the counters, also for the death resist, but the counters more importantly to make sure she has her LB filled on this turn so that she can reactivate her Omni cover. All right, Sylvie's going to shift. All right, she's going to do her Bracelets at LB for the buffs. Vaughn is just going to guard. We'll use his LB next turn because Sephiroth's going to dispel himself on this turn. All right. So yeah, that's what I want to do. All right, thank the Lord that the friend unit did not die that time. So everybody else on my team is built for death resist, and I'll show you the death resist gear once we get to that point. So I'll show you like all the different gear that I use to get death resist on the full party. All right, and also to give some ideas maybe for you to put, the units on your friend list to give them death resist. Okay, so Rains are obviously going to do their LBs. Sisney is going to do her LB as well, her SLB. All right, Sylvie is going to do triple Clever Paladin Strike to help sort of refill LBs after we've done these. Okay, Esther she's actually going to shift, and we'll go ahead and have her do some damage as well, okay, because we're going to want her LB up and ready to go. And then, yep, Vaughn's going to use his LB before we do anything else. All right, now I have my Sisney wielding the Dark Vision sword, just because I wanted to give her the best chance of maybe like doing some damage. I just kind of wanted to see what she could do in this fight, to see if she actually does relevant damage. She may not. She may do absolutely paltry, like non-existent damage, and that's fine. We all learn something in that case. All right. So I'm gonna start the Rains to get the sword in peril, and then do Sisney, Esther, and Sylvie. And all of them going together in pretty quick order should ramp up that chain super fast. And I'm hoping we do a pretty significant chunk of damage on this one. You want to get pretty well deep into Sephiroth's HP pool on this one. Like I said, he's got 45 billion HP, so let's try and go deep here. All right. All right, that's pretty good. 34 bill. He's got 9% left, so I think we are in good shape. All right, Esther's going to shift. Now, Sephiroth, he's buffed himself. He's given himself a 10% full buff, and he's going to do an AoE, a very strong AoE fixed physical attack. So that's one of the reasons why you want an Omni cover tank. So Esther's going to use Storm Guardian for the 90% general mitigation on this turn. Okay, and then she'll do Quantum Storm on Sylvie and True Storm Brand. Okay, this is because we're going to use Esther's LB. We're going to use Sylvie to chain with Esther next turn. Okay, Sylvie's going to just do some more clever Paladin strikes to help refill our Rains. All right, Rain can just, we can just do some chaining. Don't really need to concern ourselves too much with that. Vaughn can, he can also do some chaining, I suppose. Okay, and Cisney, if we want, we can do, can she multicast these? I think she can multicast this, right? Yeah, so we'll give her another chance to do another LB next turn. Her normal form LB obviously isn't as strong. I think it is pretty weak, actually. That's not too bad. I mean, a 200 times modifier, you know, we'll give her a chance. We'll let her do something. Okay, yep, so this is pretty much all just to fill up LBs here. Alright. Alright, so there's that really strong AoE fixed attack. Yeah, there's some magic damage. I think it's mostly fire and ice and lightning, so, you know, account for that if you're using Esther, you know, just build her up. Sephiroth does a 100% Omni Imperil, so keep that in mind. So if you can do 200% elemental buffs to fire, ice, and lightning, then Esther will be totally resistant. I didn't bother to do that because the damage isn't that big. But if you find your Esther is dying from the magic damage for some reason, then that's what you're going to do. All right, so Esther and Sylvie will chain, and Rain will do their business. I'm not even going to bother with Cisney. She did her big burst on turn 3. She's pretty much done. Vaughn will do his SLB, and this will pretty much seal the deal. So even if you're not anywhere near as close as I am to killing the boss on this turn, like 8%, we're definitely going to kill. I've killed as far away as 25% using this team and this strategy. You know, variance is, of course, you know, a cruel mistress, but this should be fine. All right. So we'll start Sylvie and Esther, and then we'll do our Flare and Aether Rains, okay? And this should finish the fight. Everyone should have their buffs. We've got our best Imperil, best break. We're ready to go, okay? Let's do this. All right, now before we lose our friend unit, I'm gonna look at the gear. Okay, so Sylvie is, she's got Vermilion. Honestly, her gear is irrelevant here. This is mostly just favorited gear. I just took the Blizzard Orbs off her to give them to Esther. Gave her Vermilion Flag in both forms. That is the most important thing. The rest of her gear is fairly irrelevant because no one's taking any damage in this fight. So Vermilion Flag is her form of Death Resist. Esther, honestly, doesn't really matter in her normal form. The only time she's in her normal form is to do her LB on the final turn. So you can gear her for damage and killers if you want to. I didn't really bother. You can see she's missing some gear there. She's really just there for the LB field on the last turn. But in her Brave Shift form, I geared her just for general bulk. Double Blizzard Orbs to make sure her LB is filled on turn 2. And then just some general bulk here. Like I said, if you built her for 200% fire, ice, and lightning, she would probably take, I think she'll take 0 magic damage because it's only a 100% Imperil. But yeah, even without it, at least 100% to those 3 elements, just so she doesn't take too much magic damage. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You could honestly give her a better vision card since she's not really here for damage. You could give her more of a tanky vision card there too if you wanted to. All right. My Flaring Aether Rain, we really only care about the Brave Shift form. And so Kirasame's Knowing Tag is there for the Death Resist. Okay. It's great on physical attackers and mages because it's got high attack and mag. And then, yeah, all my best Cal gear here. It's a little bit of overkill as you've seen, but you know, you'll definitely want stronger units if you're planning on getting this done in 5 turns or less. And then, yeah, just make sure he's full up on human killer and LB damage. And yeah, just the strongest vision card you have to give on him. All right, and that is pretty much it. Vaughn's got safety bit for the death resist, and then just his TMR. That's all he has on him, really. Yep, that's all he's doing. Here's Sisney. We'll see how she ended up doing as far as like her damage is concerned. Yeah, well, so you know, we'll see if all this gear was worth it. It's probably not, but we'll find out. But here's her build. Anyways, so she's got the Dark Vision sword. She cannot equip swords innately, so I gave her Fryevi as TMR, and then just made sure she was topped up on TDH, human killers. She is a mage, so it has to be magic human killers. That's why she's got Barbaricia's Spirit, so 300% magic human. And then Tsukiko's card, because you can buy that now in the free cards. Okay, and yep. Oh, yeah, and then we've got Finny here. So Finny, very similar to mine, just missing a piece of death resist gear, but like I said, that's fine. I'm not worried about it. He put on equipped clothes so he could do the Ruler's Regalia instead of the Ruler's Chainmail like I did, which is a fine option. All right, but otherwise very, very similar build. 300 human, plenty of LB damage, good to go. All right, so there's our team gear. Let's see how we did. I'm interested to see the damage report. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think the Rains obviously carried the fight, but I am most interested in just seeing like how Sisney did damage-wise. All right, hey, 5 billion on, and I'm gonna wager that 5 billion that you see there is almost entirely on the burst turn, which was on turn 3. All right, that big burst that we did. 5 billion significant, like out of 45. I mean, what is it? That's over 10% of Sephiroth's health right there, right? So that's more than 10% off Sephiroth's health right there, thanks to Sisney. But obviously, there you go. There, I mean, there's some room for improvement. You could put a much stronger damage dealer in Sisney's place, and probably get this done on turn 3 if you had 2 flaring Aether Rains, right? So just an example of somewhere where you can improve. But if you don't have a stronger unit, Sisney's, she's not doing bad there. Not doing bad at all. Obviously, Rains are carrying the fight, and yeah. Not much else to say about that. So there it is. There's your all missions clear. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. I know this one's not an easy one, especially if you don't have, you know, flaring Aether Rain or a really strong leader skill. You know, Ibarra, this one's not going to be kind to Ibarra because Sephiroth has 100% innate dark resist. You could still use Ibarra and just go with a different element like lightning. So consider that. You could bring 2 Ibarras. You could still bring Esther and Sylvie, and you could go lightning and have Sylvie use her 100% lightning amps, and that would probably get the job done just as well. I don't have Ibarra, so I can't really demonstrate that for you, but I think that would work just as well. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll try to get a video doing the Tifa crowns clear. I honestly haven't even gotten to that yet, so I'm going to go try and figure that one out and get that one done. Hopefully get a video out to you guys a little bit later on. All right, so thank you, and I will see you on the other side.